In our last episode, Borderless showed you how the sex trade is widespread in South Korea and how the country is a global sex capital. In this second episode, we take you to some of the biggest red light districts in Seoul. We'll be talking to sex workers, pimps, and show you how the sex trade has historically helped build a nation. So stay with us as we go deep into the history of Korea's sex trade. We're driving in Seoul, South Korea. This place has one of the world's biggest sex industries, and 1 million Korean women have sold sex here since the Korean War. We're on our way to the famous red light district called Miati, Texas. It's been around since the 1970s. We're meeting our contact here, the pimp who runs the place. We had to get his permission to film here. But once we start, we run into a little trouble. Yeah, we're here at one of the pretty well-known brothel areas, and we're about to talk to some girls here. I think we started a bit of commotion in the background, so probably want to get out of here pretty soon. Someone got angry that we've got a camera here, and he's very angry. But one of the business managers, what you might call a pimp, is actually who's helping us. Is actually trying to control the guy, but we're gonna try to get out of here before anything gets out of hand. How big do you think the Korean sex industry is overall? Like, well, we'll say adult entertainment industry.
아무래도 이게 드러나 있지 않는 거기 때문에 따지다 보면 이게 불법이잖아요. 그래서 이런 게 굉장히 많이 커지고 있다라고 생각을 하는데 단속도 많이 한다고는 들었는데 그래도 그 유흥가나 무슨 이런 그러니까 그러니까 한 집 건너 한 집 정도 굉장히 많이 있다고는 알고 있어요.
So there's a government crackdown, but it's still growing at the same time.
네, 많이 커지고 있죠.
Well, why do you think that is?
TV를 봐도 그렇고 제가 이렇게 길을 다녀봐도 그렇고 아는 친구들이 이제 다니면서도 이제 얘기를 해주기도 하고 알고 그러죠. 그래서 많이 알죠.
Korea's sex trade really took off after the Korean War. Massive numbers of young women refugees roamed around US military bases. With no other way to survive, they sold their bodies to US servicemen just to earn a few dollars to eat. The following newsreel from the 1950s shows that even after the war, Koreans were still struggling to survive.
Yet the task of reviving Korea completely, or even of Seoul alone, is still far short of completion. More than 1 million homeless people remain. Nearly 100,000 orphans must be cared for. A livable future must be provided for them.
60 years later, Korea's sex trade is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's 250,000 Korean women in the trade. That's because the good jobs go to men. That leaves a large supply of women who have no other way to support their families.
네, 아무래도 그러니까 이 한국 사회가 오래 전서부터 여자들이 좀 그런 것 때문에 그런 문제 때문에 여자들이 설 공간이 많이 없었던 것 같아요. 그래서 이제 직장이나 뭐 이런 금전적인 문제 직장을 구하기가 힘드니까 아무래도 이쪽에 종사하시는 분들이 많지 않나라는 생각이 좀 있기는 해요.
Did a lot of the girls you know in this industry, did they start before? Did they work for a major Korean company like you did?
네, 직장 다니다가 오신 분들도 있죠.
Over the decades, paid sex went from something US soldiers did in Korea to almost a national pastime for Korean men. Part of that's because Korean companies get entertainment budgets. They're supposed to use the money for department dinners, but the money often gets used to go to special bars, where guys can drink and sing karaoke with escorts. After the drinking and singing, these guys can pay for sex with one of the escorts. Some believe this concept comes from Japan, which colonized Korea in the early 1900s. Anyway, that's the business Soo-young is in. You might have noticed the karaoke machine behind us. One other thing I learned since I've been here and talking to girls in this industry is that, me and my friend Peter were also talking to the business managers, the guys, and actually they're just normal 아저씨.
글쎄요, 이렇게 같이 이렇게 서로 알고 하는 일들을 힘들다는 걸 알고 또 그래서 그러시는지 많이들 챙겨주시기도 하시고.
Yeah, it's not like in the movies. I mean, they're not like having like slick back hair and carrying guns or something like that. They seem like normal like business managers, really.
네, 그러니까 그런 인식들이 아직 못 벗어나고 있는 것 같아요. 예전에 막 굉장히 그 단속이 강하고 이런 밀집 지역에. 네, 그랬을 때 그런 무서운 삼촌들의 그런 게 각인이 많이 이렇게 돼서 그런지 모르는데 요새는 그러신 분들이 전혀 찾아보기 굉장히 힘들거든요. 없다고 보는데 그런 게 이렇게 그러니까 다른 사람들한테 그런 그것도 편견이겠죠. 일종의 그런 것 같아요. 저희들은 그렇진 않거든요.
We head out to an alley to interview the main pimp who runs this red light district. He says the industry has undergone a lot of changes over the decades.
했었던 여기가 우리가 실질적으로 사무실을 오픈을 한 이유는 아가씨들의 인건비. 옛날에는 미성년자가 있었고 김광재 사장님이 이 미성년자를 쓰고 영업하지 말아라 해갖고 우리 자체적으로도 미성년자는 안 되겠다. 이제 앞으로는 이거는 미성년자는 없애자 해갖고 그때 이후로 김광재 오고 난 뒤로서부터는 미성년자를 한 명도 안 썼어요. 그리고 이제 특별법 만들어지고 그랬더니 본격적으로 여기 아가씨들이 불이익을 굉장히 많이 당해요. 지금 한 예를 들면은 손님들이 여기 와가지고 이제 놀아요. 놀고 집을 한번 놀았는데 나 놀았으니까 돈 내놔. 다시 내놓으래요. 그 돈을 자기 놀고 나와서 그 돈을 다시 내놔라. 안 내놓으면 나 신고한다. 예? 그래갖고 그런 안 그러면 또 자기 핸드폰 막 무슨 핸드폰을 갖고 붙여놓고 나 신고할 테니까 너 핸드폰 물어줘라. 이런 경우. 그러니까 너무 황당한 일들이 많이 벌어지니까 그 불이익들을 아가씨들이 지금 다 그걸 받고 있어요. 예. 그 여성단체에서는 해줘야 될 게 여기 애들은 못하니까 생계용으로 여기 어쩔 수 없이 와서 일을 하는 애들인데 이러한 애들이 갈 때까지 가는 아가씨들인데 이런 불이익을 받으면 안 되잖아요. 여성단체들은 좀 여기 아가씨들을 생각을 한다 그러면은 얘네들을 위해서 우리가 집행을 얼마나 했니 근데 여기 아가씨들이 실질적으로 자기네들이 여성 단체로부터 자기네들이 받은 거나 여기 10전도 없는 사람들이에요. 500원짜리 머리띠 같은 거 갖고 와가지고 애들 상담한다는 그게 다고 그 외에는 여기 있는 아가씨들이 의료보험이 어떻다 저렇다 요만큼도 혜택받은 게 아무것도 없는 아가씨들이에요. 그런 부분을 그렇게 생각한다면 여기에 있는 아가씨들이 우리가 경찰서에서 얘기를 했어요. 이러이러한 부분에 애들이 인격적으로 지금 너무 많이 다치니까 그러니까 이런 부분을 우리가 해결을 좀 도와줘라. 근데 법이 이렇기 때문에 못도 합니다.
The next day, we're on our way to a major red light district in Paju, near the North Korean border. We're going to talk to some more pimps there. The place is a sex workers' village, and it's been around since the Korean War. Just after the war, the place was a sex paradise for US troops from nearby Camp Ross. At the time, 100% of the town's income came from US soldiers, who mostly bought sex. In 1971, US soldiers started pulling out, and business went down, but there's still a lot of sex workers here. They now cater to Korean clients. The pimps at first don't want us to film there, since the ladies don't want their families to know what they're doing. The pimp said if the women found out I was filming, they'd complain and give the pimps a major headache. But one pimp says we can film from his car, which has tinted windows, so we won't be seen. I'm reluctant to get in the car, but my translator says it's okay.
Kannst du noch sagen?
Over the past couple of weeks, after talking with sex workers, pimps, and visiting red light districts, it's clear that sex work is a major industry in Korea, and it's part of the Korean economy. Korean historians said that sex workers, despite their hardships, helped the economy grow after the war, as the country went from a heap of rubble to this.